Hi, I'm Kate from Wedding Secrets. Today we are going to give you some tips on how to plan your wedding budget. Much needed. It's no secret that your wedding day will be one of the happiest days of your life. Let's be real though, confetti, celebrations and prices all add up to the most expensive wedding ever. When it comes to the B word, brides-to-be will understand exactly what we're saying. It's a daunting obstacle, but it is also the one factor that will influence every single decision you make when planning your wedding. We're going to talk about the budget, that's for sure. The first step in the wedding planning process should be to establish a realistic budget. Ultimately, your budget drives how you can create the wedding of your dreams. Basically, there's no pressure, but it's kind of crucial to get this one right. Every little detail adds up when it comes to planning your wedding. Your big day starts with you choosing your photographer, your meal, and even the shoes that you will wear. All of these decisions will require you to consult your budget. To avoid disappointment or financial stress, it's imperative to research and set a realistic wedding budget. You can take a few simple steps to clarify exactly how much you can spend on your wedding day, where your budget should go, and how to keep an eye on those hidden costs, naughty hidden costs. Visiting the venue and shopping for a dress should come before anything else. To begin with, you need to know exactly how much money you can spend. Making sure this part is done right will prevent you from making mistakes later. So from the beginning, you will know what your expectations are. First, figure out how much money will be coming in together with your partner. Are you covering every single cost? Do you have relatives, oh those wonderful relatives, I love you so much, who are willing to participate financially in your day? First, sit down with your partner, consider the amount of money you will be able to set aside for your wedding, calculate how much you have already saved, and then figure out how much you are going to be able to save before the big day. Following the estimation of your contribution and that of your partner, you will need to talk to any family members who have offered to assist financially. Depending on what elements your family members wish to contribute to, some may agree to contribute a specific amount, while others may offer to coordinate a specific element such as the cake or dress. Make sure you tell them what this might cost up front if this is the case. Don't just lump them with a high bill based on an assumption at the end. Once you've added up any family contributions and your own savings, you are then able to determine how much you can realistically spend on your wedding. Make sure to do your homework. Having figured out how much money you must spend, let's move on to the fun part. Where do you spend it? So prior to starting to spend, you should allocate funds for the different aspects of your wedding. Each element of the wedding will cost you money, so you'll need to budget and divide your budget accordingly. In order to get a rough estimate of wedding vendors' costs, figure out how much each vendor is going to cost. Make a list of all the services and products you will need for your big day. After that, research online to get a price estimate for each. When researching vendors, make sure that they are local to your area so that the costs can be accurate. The price will vary based on your location. You will need to contact the vendors directly if you can't find pricing information on their website. Compare the prices offered by 2 to 3 vendors in the same industry to get an average. In order to obtain a price estimate from your vendors, you will have to supply the number of guests. Depending on this number, the cost of certain services such as catering and decor hire will vary. Now your wedding budget will become much clearer once you have confirmed your guest numbers. Identify hidden costs. The average cost for each vendor has been compiled after you've done your research. But did you note down the last minute's costs? Budgets are quickly blown by unexpected expenses. Consider any additional costs that may need to be accounted for right from the start. As you're researching, inquire with vendors if there are any extra charges you need to be aware of. You may also be charged overtime or Sunday rates. You will need to have your rental items transported. You will need to have the rubbish removed the following day. You will need to replace any broken items, or you will be charged corkage for alcoholic beverages. Double check the quoted prices to see if tax is also included. In order to avoid receiving a shock bill after the wedding, it's important to ask these questions beforehand. However organised you think you are, there are always going to be unexpected costs or overlooked details along the way. It's best to set aside 5 to 10% of your budget for unforeseen expenses. Set priorities for your spending. After you've calculated how much all of these wedding details are going to cost you, it's time to add it all up and see if it fits within your budget. If not, don't panic. No, seriously, don't panic. That's perfectly normal. To maximise your wedding budget, you need to start prioritising different aspects. So depending on the vision for your wedding day, you may have to spend more money on some areas while cutting back on others. So it's a good idea to define your wedding vision here if you have not already done so. Decide exactly how you and your partner want the day to look and feel, as well as the elements that are most important to you. You might find it helpful to order the wedding elements from highest to lowest priority. Wedding ambience may be your number one priority, but wedding invitations may be your least important concern. Then you can choose to DIY your invitations instead of allocating more funds to invitations. If you don't care too much about the details of a wedding cake or guest favours, you might be able to cut them from your budget altogether. Don't be intimidated by tradition. In terms of your own wedding, there is no right or wrong. Additionally, there are smart investments that you can make that will save you money elsewhere as well. Here's an example, your wedding venue. Even though you might find a corporate function room the cheapest venue option, you will likely spend more money, time and energy on styling the room in order to make up for the lacklustre space. A better investment actually would be to spend a little more on a really beautiful venue, which you won't have to spend hundreds on with decorations, etc. A cost-saving strategy. Are you still struggling to keep your wedding budget within your means? Now, if you want to save money, you may want to think about making some unconventional decisions. Choosing the date of your wedding will help you save money. You may be able to hire your venue for a lower rate if you hold your wedding during the week or in the off-season. Booking your food and flowers seasonally is another way to maximise your budget. Using only local and seasonal products with your caterer will help you keep your wedding budget and the environment in check. To save money on flowers, it is best to use the flowers that are available and flexible with your florist. Decide what needs to be done. When your wedding budget is, spiraling out of control, it's time to start making some tough decisions. Now, maybe you can start reducing your guest list. You'll be able to save the most money with your wedding. If you are still struggling with your budget, go over your guest list with a fine tooth comb. You might be able to, move things around. In order to save some extra money, you may decide to have no plus ones or no kids. Additionally, you may have to consider that your wedding vision is simply unattainable within your budget. What does it mean to have champagne taste on a beer budget? A luxurious beachfront mansion, a string quartet and 200 guests are all part of your dream wedding. But your budget is only €5,000. Eventually something has got to give. Consider pushing back your wedding date if your budget doesn't match your vision. Saving your wedding budget will be easier since you will have more time if you do that, if you push it back. Keep track of your spending. Make sure you keep track of your spending as soon as you have allocated your budget. The majority of wedding vendors will require a deposit up front, with the final payment due between 2 to 4 weeks before your big day. It is easy to lose track of money that has already been spent when payments are consistently being made. Don't forget any payments or you'll blow your budget. Make sure that every payment is documented properly. The best way to stay organised is to create a spreadsheet. Oh, you've got to love those spreadsheets that document all of your expenses. Online purchases such as delivery charges should be included even if they are small. Be sure to specify when both the deposits and final payments are due. Keeping track of when payments are due is crucial so that you don't get caught off guard with a surprise, I'm a bill. Keep track of all your payments by using a wedding payments tracking tool that shows how much you've spent, how much you still owe, and when your next payment is due. Right, take a deep breath and relax. After your wedding day, you should be relaxing and enjoying your honeymoon, not worrying about debt you may have ended up in because of your unrealistic budget. Budgeting is an important aspect of the planning process, but it can be challenging, which is why you should do it right ahead of time to avoid any problems at the last minute. So, take time to create an in-depth bridal budget as soon as you begin your planning process. Keep these suggestions in mind. No matter what your budget might be, keep in mind that the most meaningful part of your ceremony will be, guess what? Celebrating your love for each other. And that, my friends, is priceless. Well, that's enough from us for now. We hope that you found these ideas helpful. You can like, share and comment on the video below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future content. Click on the bell, ding ding, to be notified of any future videos going forward. If you would like to speak to a member of the team, don't hesitate to get in touch with us here via the form below. Alternatively, you can email us at info@weddingsecrets.me. We are always happy to help. Goodbye for now and happy planning. Bye guys.